Kanye has been teasing the release of his long-awaited comeback album since October of 2023, but finally, after a long-ass ride for fans, Ye himself has officially put out a release date not just for one album, but for 3. Ye has been grinding since last summer, working with Ty Dolla $ign on a collab record called Vultures, and we heard some of the material expected on that project this past December when Kanye and Ty held a few listening parties, but things got a little quiet after Kanye went on a rant following the second rave. That made a lot of people nervous as to what that meant for the music in this era. A lot of people felt that maybe that meant Kanye was in a negative headspace now and he was gonna scrap this entire Vultures project. Luckily, that's not the case. He was quiet for about a month following the rant, and apparently in that downtime, he was back in the studio working hard with Ty, as he would soon return to social media, put out some thirst traps, some horny posts for his wife Bianca, and officially start teasing new music. The 23rd of January is the day of this filming, and we have got some hype-ass news. So what I do on this channel is I run down the entire timeline of events from the last time I put out a Vultures update video, and I basically report all the big musical happenings, the big reports from insiders, etc., because I believe those events are important to document and also shed some light on who and what we can expect to hear on these Vultures records. If you want to go ahead and skip to the point where I talk about the Vultures Volumes 1, 2, and 3 announcement from Kanye himself, just skip to the back end of this video. But I like covering all the happenings going on because, I mean, I haven't even gotten to talk about the titanium, not grills, not teeth, but the mouthpiece Kanye's got now. For my fans, real quick, yes, we are back to this weird setup that I did for the JPEG Mafia Kanye video last week. It's really just out of convenience for me. I'm in college and it sucks and I'm busy, but I have an off day to do this now, and I save a lot of time if I could just move my desk a little bit back, put my lights up, and go. Also saw a lot of people saying they like this better than the old setup anyway, so I don't know. I think that's a little crazy to say. This like sucks. I feel like it's so lazy, but let's get into the news. We kind of left off on the New Year's era of Vultures. The reports were that it was going to drop New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and obviously that would never happen. Yes, Jules had some sort of deal handling the marketing of Vultures. During this period, she was reaching out to fan pages in the DMs, and eventually she would have them all put out #Vultures on New Year's Eve, and that really led to nothing other than her kind of being exposed. But in this New Year's time period, morale was really low for Kanye fans because Burn, which was a track expected to be on Vultures, it was on a track list as well, it would leak in full. Gotta remember that New Year's release date, it was a big deal and it was seen as legit. So when you have a major track leaking in its entirety in high quality, people are like, yeah, this thing's fucking scrapped for sure. Ty and Kanye weren't really speaking on the project at all. Ty would have a performance on the 30th of December where he would play a lot of Vultures tracks, Everybody, the title track, and then also Carnival. I believe that's the title, the song with Rich the Kid with the Black Sabbath sample, which, have to say, has grown on me like crazy. But that gave some people a little bit of reassurance, as streaming would soon update from December 31st to January 12th. Also, someone would reach out to Malik Youssef asking if the 12th was a legit release date, to which Malik would say, precisely, our trustworthy king. So nothing happens on New Year's, but Kanye would soon post on his Instagram story promoting the new Playboi Carti song Backrooms, it was new at the time anyway, with Travis Scott, which is a banger. Kanye, I don't think he was involved with production-wise at all, maybe aesthetic-wise, he was like on the set or something. I don't think so though. But I mention this because it's at this time that Insider Heaven or Hell would report that Kanye and Carti were kind of planning their rollouts together. He would say basically that Carti was not going to drop on the 5th of January anymore. I guess that was the alleged plan for him. I doubt if that's even true. It's the 23rd of January and Carti has not dropped shit. But allegedly he wasn't dropping on the 5th anymore, and he wasn't going to drop the following Friday, the 12th, after the 5th, because that's when Kanye and Ty were going to drop Vultures. That was allegedly the set, locked-in plan. And wow, that aged wonderfully. We really didn't know shit in early January. Like, people were debating whether or not the 1/12 date, the pre-save date on streaming, was legit or not, asking Malik a bunch of stupid questions. And all we really knew for sure was that Kanye and his team, they moved the musical operation with the studio work over to Las Vegas with Hit Boy. What's significant about Las Vegas is, number one, of course, great that Kanye's working on these tracks and in the studio, but more significantly, it would prove Insider Dealy 1 to be trustworthy and reliable. Like a day before it was public news that Kanye was in Vegas, he would say that they're working in the studio there, and wouldn't you know who won the pony, it was fucking right. And we'll get more info from him on the 7th of January on Good Ass Sub when he would respond to people's questions. So he would say that there's multiple projects Kanye's working on at the time, 2 Vultures projects as well as his, being the solo project, and he's producing another for someone else. We've heard rumors of Bump J, we've heard rumors of Cardi, we don't know at this point in time. And then also someone would ask him how the timeline was going to line up regarding the releases of these many projects he's working on, and Dealey would say that Vultures 1, then Vultures 2, and then probably the solo projects is going to drop, but they're all being worked on at this point in time. What was really interesting is someone would ask him, like, what songs right now are Kanye working on that he's really passionate about. And Dealey would say Everybody, Back to Me, and then Always, which is a song that we heard in like fall of 2022 when Kanye was working on a collab record with James Blake and No ID. I did a video really exploring that unreleased record in full. You could check it out. But that proved to us that, number one, the James Blake tracks, at least one of them, was still alive, and in general there was just some life to that project. Dealey would end out the day with a huge piece of news saying that Kanye's solo album is allegedly finished, and it has been finished since November, which is wild to me. He would say the info came from somebody in Kanye's camp and that it has finished verses and everything. But again, I'll remind you, even though Dealey, with the Vegas information, was proven to be reliable, take all this with a grain of salt. And also just don't get too invested in anything, even if it comes from Kanye's own mouth, because like, how many times has this guy lied to us about release dates? It's a weird line between not wanting to get your hopes up, but also wanting to like enjoy the rollout and get excited with music. It's a pain in the ass. If you could deal with the heartbreak, man, go crazy. Dealey's really carrying this rollout here, though, because in between that info dump and the next one, the only thing I have in my notes here is that Ty posts a story on the 11th of January where you can hear Gun to My Head playing in the background. And like I said, another Dealey info dump coming at you from Discord this time. And this was on the 12th of January. I'm just going to run through these here. There's a song that samples I Say a Little Prayer by Aretha Franklin, and that might be on Freddie Gibbs' album because it's rumored that Kanye, it's not rumored, it has been reported by insiders that Kanye's working on Freddie Gibbs' upcoming record. There's a song that samples Tuscan Leather by Drake on Vultures, but we don't know which volume that song is on. Vultures Volume 1 is mostly house-inspired, Volume 2 is experimental and trap-like, and then the solo album in Freddie is more sample-based. There's a song with Ye, Freddie Gibbs, and Westside Gunn, currently in this era, which makes me so fucking hype. I'm a huge Westside Gunn fan, man. The James Blake and Kanye album is allegedly complete, which is crazy. No songs from the Vultures track list have been scrapped. The 19th is still a likely date for the release of Vultures Volume 1. RIP to that. All of the upcoming albums are supposed to drop back to back. Everybody still has the One in the Pink, One in the Stink verse. However, he has redone some of his verses on the project. Everybody has drums on it again. The drums are from Anthony Kilhofer. There's more than one song with Cardi on it besides Fuck Some, which is exciting for me. And then Money on the Floor is intended for Vultures Volume 2. And there's a possibility that War could still drop. It's funny that after all this time, we really don't know what War is, other than just the title Kanye was going with in like 2022 for a project. And allegedly, that title has roots to like 2021 post Donda, which is crazy. It's a cool ass name for a project. I don't blame him. But soon after this, Ye would trademark I Miss You When I Wake Up Before You in relation to posting about his wife, Bianca. And some people thought that maybe this was going to be the name of his solo project, the solo album from Kanye, allegedly dropping after this Vultures, these projects conclude. But we later get a report on what the official name for that solo Kanye album is set to be, at least at this point in time. We'll get into that in a little bit. And I will say here too, during this time, Kanye is active on Instagram. He's posting pictures of Bianca, but I don't know. I'm not going to report on that because I, like I said, here for the music, happy for my dude, but like, I don't know. I just don't think it's like newsworthy to report here. On the 13th of January, some people would spot Kanye and Ty filming a music video for Fuck Some, which is great. Sounds a little bit different than what we have heard in previous snippets, but I'm not going to get too invested in anything until we hear it at an official like rave or listening event. With this info too, insiders would come forward and say that allegedly they planned on dropping Fuck Some a few months back as a single with Quavo and Cardi on it, but just never happened. We're switching characters here in the rollout as we get another info dump, but this time it's not from Dealey 1, it's from Joy Boy, who is legit, and he's my boy, he's your boy, he's Joy Boy. I say my boy because he said something on Twitter to me. I like said something about him, like, I don't know if he's 100% legit or verified on one of my early Vultures rollout videos, and he was like, yo, my shit is legit. And I was like, fuck, okay. He seems like a cool dude in all seriousness, though, and what he has provided us with the information, it's been mostly pretty fucking true, and obviously as true as you can get with Kanye switching shit up in the rollout all the time, right? Why the fuck did I put this on my thumb? I don't know. Here's what he said in this info dump. He said, been seeing a lot of info dumps lately. I can confirm that the album is done, but not finalized, meaning they could still change the track list based on sample clearances and personal preferences. The whole working on 5+ albums thing is true, but I wouldn't focus on those yet. Releasing one album has been proven to be a challenge already, but they do plan on releasing more. Also, don't know if I'm allowed, but I was helping some collaborators for the past week on finding a venue in Paris for a possible fashion and music related event that ended up not going through for multiple undisclosed reasons. Ye is straightly focused on music as for the past couple of days, and as of now there's no plan on him coming to Paris. Now with hindsight, we could say that honestly an event around Fashion Week seems pretty damn reliable, as the Vultures Volume 1 release date that Kanye just put out today lines up with Paris Fashion Week, so that's actually fucking crazy. I did not connect that until now. On the 15th, Kanye would post two very wholesome things on his Instagram story. One promoting the new Kid Cudi album, and I guess he's got a lot of inspiration from that new Cudi record. And also he would post a promo for a upcoming performance by Mike Dean. These two guys are just, you know, longtime collaborators of Kanye, longtime friends, so it's nice to see that they're back on good terms. It's just great shit. Around this time too, the pre-save for Vultures, the date would be moved now for the release to the 9th of February, which, you know, fans were just like throwing their hands up in the air like this thing's never dropping. Another placeholder date, this time way further, that'll probably, you know, go by without us ever hearing any of this shit officially on streaming. But that's kind of crazy because, again, Vultures Volume 1, according to Kanye from his post today, is coming out on that date, the 9th. Around this time, Forbes put out a report that that 9th was a legit date. So that is crazy in hindsight. Around this time, this is where the rollout really picked up too, because we got that date. And then on the 17th of January, we get this news report as well as pictures from Kanye himself, where he got this like titanium piece for his mouth. Not like a mouthpiece. It's not grills. It's not replacing his teeth, but it looks fucking sick. It takes direct inspiration from Jaws off of James Bond, and I think it looks fucking sick. Like, some people were shitting on it and clowning on it, but I don't know, bro. I think this is the type of thing where a few years go by, and this is an iconic piece that, like, becomes legendary with this era. A lot of Kanye fans were going a little too crazy at this point, too, because you had people like, he won't be able to sing or rap anymore, like his career's over, no more music. This would all eventually be cleared up by the individuals who did the procedure for Kanye. I don't know if you'd officially call them dentists. I guess you would. I don't know. But also we learn here the following day that Kanye recorded a 40-minute apology video for his anti-Semitic comments over the past year and a half, 2 years. This is reported by TMZ. We don't know if it is coming out anytime soon or coming out whatsoever, but very interesting. It could be a troll. It could be legit and sincere. It could be a way for him just to get his public image right and clear some fucking samples. We really don't know. We don't even know if it will release, but we'll have to wait and see. And following that, the next day, Kanye and JPEG Mafia would officially link. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about this. I did a whole video last week covering it because, again, two of my favorite artists, and I can't wait. I'm so happy Peggy finally got to work with his idol. But we would get these random pictures last Friday, and this came after JPEG Mafia took shots at Ye the previous week for not working with him and giving him the call, but having a bunch of people who JPEG Mafia described as basically a lot less talented than him. I'm just so happy these guys finally met. We don't know if Peggy's contributions are for the solo album, for Vultures, or which volume of Vultures he's even going to be on, but we do know officially, according to Dealey now, what the solo album Kanye's working on is going to be called, and it is allegedly titled Bad Bitch Playbook. From here, Dealey would also say that Baby Keem linked up with Kanye very recently, so wouldn't be surprised if we hear a Keem collab on one of these projects, which is dope. And on the 21st, we would get a whole lot more news from Dealey regarding the album's progression. From the Discord, he said Alien is being considered, most likely for Bad Bitch Playbook, the solo album. Home is also another Yandhi song currently being looked at regarding being on one of these projects. Aunt Clemens is a feature in one of the albums, which is great for him, finally. JPEG Mafia is involved musically with one of the projects. Volume 1, Solo, and War is pretty much done, while Volume 2 is half complete. Ye's camp is planning an event to build up hype for the album in the first week of February. Says Miami is being considered, but said that basically if a listening event doesn't happen, then the album probably not dropping on the 9th. And then he also said War is not the actual title for the Ye, James Blake, and No ID collab. Claims it's dark sounding, like a modern take on 808s. So that's crazy, because this February 9th date seems to really be the plan, and that gives us a little bit of insight on what is likely going to happen in the lead up to that 2/9 date. But officially, the biggest news regarding Vultures, without a doubt, in this entire video, it happened today, the day I'm filming this, the 23rd of January. And it all started with Kanye posting a story on Instagram of himself playing the piano. He then posts about Bianca, to which some dude in his comments would leave a shitty comment about him, you know, telling him to go back to Jesus and everything. And Kanye would send this dude a DM and basically be like, hey, get off my page, I'm gonna post whatever the fuck I want. Which is like, yeah, Kanye's famous, why is he responding to this little dude? But as someone who is on the internet and gets shitty replies, like, you can't help but just fucking be like, hey asshole, go fuck yourself sometime. People put rude shit on the internet, man. These two, I guess, got into it over the DMs though. And this guy was like, we want the old Kanye, like, go back to how you used to be. To which Kanye would say, hey, life has changed. I'm how old? Like, I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, if you want the old Kanye, go listen to the old Kanye. Which I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I agree. But from here, shit got really real. Because Kanye would then post a Vultures trailer, which was this promotional video for Vultures. It was put together by John Rathman. And the score of this video is a remix of Vultures produced by someone named Havoc. I'm not familiar personally, but it's eerie, just like the imagery seen in the trailer. It's right up my alley personally. I love the aesthetic, but the big news came at the end of the video as this graphic pops up that reads Vultures, volumes 1, 2, and 3, each listed with their respective release dates. Those dates were volume 1, February 9th, volume 2, March 8th, and volume 3, April the 5th. Now, this is the first official time that Kanye has announced a date for this project. Yes, at the club in December, he said Vultures dropping this Friday, which was the 15th of December, but that was like a heat of the moment. He's in the club performing, feeling the high from the fans. Maybe he was drinking. When you post something on social media like this and there's an official video behind it, there's thought, there's planning. Like, this was a whole process. This isn't something he's pulling out of his ass. This dude went silent for a month following that second Vultures rave, and we know he went hard at work in the studio. We've heard from insiders all these projects he has that he's working on, and additionally, that some of them are completely finished. We've heard the rumors that he's going to do this crazy string of releases for these projects, kind of like the Surgical Summer Wyoming sessions on steroids. From the James Blake collab, to War, to the solo album, to these 3 volumes of Vultures, to the Bump J album, to the Freddie Gibbs album, to the Cardi album. I don't know, man. I've been doing videos for over a year now on Ye's comeback album. How is he going to come back from likely the biggest controversy in his career? And this is the fucking way to do it. Volume 1 is allegedly a house music / club kind of vibe. Volume 2 is more trap and experimental. And then we don't exactly know what Volume 3 is going to sound like, but we got till, what, April? You got some people who are baffled at the idea of Kanye putting out 3 projects over the span of this 3-month period, but like, that original Vultures track list that was on streaming, that was probably enough if you really wanted to split into 2 projects. I'm not saying they're going to do that, because clearly each volume has a certain vibe to it, as Dealey said, with the house and club vibe and the trap experimental vibe. But then from there, you go from also the material we heard at that second rave, which was mostly songs that weren't on the track list. And you combine all that with, number 1, the stuff we haven't heard, and number 2, the shit Kanye's been working on in the past month. This shit's going to be crazy. I mean, at this point, with all the news regarding the many projects Kanye's working on, and these 3 projects now that Kanye teased himself, without a doubt, I think in 2023, it's safe to say we're going to hear at least 1 Kanye album officially on streaming. The fact that he's promoting it himself, that changes shit for me. I'm still like, okay, we'll see if it drops the 9th. We'll see what happens around that point in time. And also, like Dealey said, we'll see if they do an event before the 9th that week to hype it up, which will be a telltale sign if it does drop. But like, man, this is fucking crazy. Like, this is comeback season. You know what I'm saying? There's so much to be excited about, from the JPEG Mafia contributions to finished versions of these songs we heard at the raves that sounded pretty damn great even though they were unfinished. I think it's just going to be a great fucking year to be a Kanye fan, as crazy as that sounds after the past 2 years. But I figured I had to do a video on this. This is like huge news. We'll just have to see what happens next. The 9th is about 2 Fridays away. And once that date is fulfilled, then we could start having a conversation about Volume 2. I feel as if the month gap in between projects 2 is great. That gives them time to finalize stuff on each project and really lock in to each volume. But if you want to hear my thoughts on the upcoming Kanye news, I'm sure shit's really going to get heavy and I'll have to put videos out like this as well. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at digitalxdwnld. Also on Instagram, Casey Culkin. That's pretty much it. Vultures Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3 on the way. And we'll see where shit goes from here.